Welcome to Glocal Voices, the official podcast of the Center for Socially Engaged Theatre at the University of Regina.
Well, hello again and welcome to Glocal Voices from the Center for Socially Engaged Theatre at the University of Regina. My name is Taiwo Afolabi and we're live and direct in IDIERI 2025 at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver in Canada. This episode, I'm going to be talking to Carmel O'Sullivan, and Carmel is going to introduce herself more. But I want to shout out to all my crew behind the scene, Gabriel, Walter, Caleb, and of course Sholara, and really a great and amazing opportunity to really capture thoughts and ideas of researchers here at the IDIERI 2025. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you. So, Carmel, how do you want to introduce yourself today?
Well, I'll just simply say, my name is Carmel O'Sullivan. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences in a university in Dublin called Trinity College.
Amazing. I have read Carmel's work, and it's really critical, beautifully critical, just to add that word, and it's been really amazing. But I know you have avalanche of research and project and ideas that you want to share. So what are the key highlights that you love to share to our about your research and some of your thinking?
Lovely. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I suppose for me, the reason I got into this work from the very beginning was always around service. I had a wonderful experience as a very small child being involved in theatre and music and drama, and I saw the benefits that it brought just to my own community, and so that motivated me right throughout my life in every aspect. And I do like to combine the critical and the creative together. It's always been our way. And so anytime people will ask me to support or to get involved, I will. One of the recent projects that, well, I say recent, but about 10 years ago, in Dublin where we live, there's an area that's a financial services kind of business area. We've most of the tech companies, top companies in the world that are located there. And so they're very engaged. They want to engage with their community. They're very committed. But bringing young people into that space hasn't been successful. And so we were asked, would we do a project to look at that? So myself and an educational psychologist who was based in the States and an occupational psychologist who was based in VU Amsterdam, Jos Akermans and Jennifer Simons was my other colleague, and I was the critical pedagogue. So we looked to see what's happening in communities where young people who may have fallen out of the education system and who may experience considerable barriers to transitioning either into further education or perhaps transitioning into the workplace. What types of programs are there for them? Why, when you've got an open spirit from the business community, why is it not working? So they go in and they never go back there again. So the research was very clear. It highlighted areas to do with pedagogy as being extremely important and underserved. Not one single study that we accessed and that we spent a year reviewing this area mentioned pedagogy. Or went into detail. So we looked at that, and then they talked about partnerships, obviously, partnerships and collaborations between community, between business, between academia, and the young people themselves. Another area that was unique was what we would loosely call parents. So it could be a significant other. They're not mentioned either. So it was an interesting area. So we created a program that we called Career Leap, Local Employment Action Partnership. And it's predominantly based using drama in education, which coming from my tradition would be very much Dorothy Heathcote and Gavin Bolton's work. Cecily O'Neill as well, and bringing it forwards from there. But it's a work readiness program. And so that has been running now for 10 years successfully, with about between 80 and 85% success rate, where the young people are ready to go into the workplace. And that was my criticism from day one. A lot of these programs, they'll say, yes, we're delighted. We might be Google or Meta or whatever it is. We're very pleased to bring these young people in. The young people can be ready to go in, but the business isn't ready to receive young people with complex lives, complex needs. And that then results in challenges. So the minute somebody looks at my young person sideways, the young person suddenly kind of goes, I'm out of here, I don't know what, I don't feel welcome, etc. So the program insists on, it's a work readiness, look at the elements of how you are ready to transition into the workplace or into further education. And I do the teaching for the young people, and then the business partners come in as well. They do 3 weeks placement in a business. And as I said, it's about double the average of most of these programs worldwide. So they have them in Qatar, them in all over the world, which you wouldn't expect. But it's the playfulness of the drama that works. So I never mention the word drama, because my young people have challenging lives. They may have left school, and we're supposed to be a developed country. They may have left school at 13, and they shouldn't. It's against the law, but there's nobody there. And they have difficulties really there, but they're wonderful. The heart in them and the spirit is wonderful. And when we're sitting there, we're saying, now let me have a look at that. We never say drama, and we do lots of kind of activities and games and say, oh gosh, okay, I'll pretend to be. And so they really get up and try things out. So they're ready to go into the businesses, and then I do the same with the business mentors.
Yeah.
So they have to come and they have to do a CPD, certified training with Trinity College. I lead it, so they're ready to work, and I do the exact same work with them, not for the same length of time. Do all the activities around how do you prioritize certain things. It's all done playfully and creatively. So we're now in our 10th year, and we're going to scale it up. So we're creating a license model in Trinity College with this program, so that it'll become available to anybody all over the world, and they can apply and they can use it if they're in communities, and that's the vision.
Wow. It's a lot of questions are running through my brain that I'd love to ask you. I know our time, we only have a few minutes here. So back here in Canada, I run a program called Art Leadership Training Program. And it's different. The model is 12 weeks of intensive masterclass on Zoom and 3-month paid internship for the same purpose of service and different things like that. I guess my question is, how often be able to evaluate? Secondly, what's the response from the various communities that you serve?
So from a research perspective, there's a website called careerleap.ie. So we, at the first year, we'll say 10 years ago, we did a very, very, very robust evaluation of this. So we had outside external evaluators who reviewed it, and there's a report available about the outcomes. So we used a number of kind of like Eccles value expectancy, a lot of measures to do with whether this actually is cost effective as a program, whether it's effective across a whole heap of measures in young people's development. So they were quite positive, and you mentioned about my nature is quite critical, so I can be quite critical about things. So we're now at the moment doing the exact same thing. So at the 10th anniversary, we're just starting. So as I'm here, I've got some colleagues at home working, updating the literature to see what's going on worldwide. And we are reaching out to the participants again to see how has this in any way changed your life. We track them at the moment, so we have longitudinal data for almost, I'd say at the moment it's probably about 80% of them, so it's a very large sample, and pretty much they're all working or in higher education. So that's wonderful that they've moved on to,
Interesting. The funding, who pays for it?
So the government. So I'm a great believer in, you go and get the money. You've got to go and find the funding.
So the businesses want to get the money.
We did a partnership with it. So the businesses, yes, they contribute as well. They contributed originally to the pot, and then we have funding through government agencies. So we sought that. I contacted them, and we put our proposal, and we got the funding for that, and that's every year annual. That pays for youth workers who work with us, who coordinate the program, and they are wonderful, exactly. And then I teach the program, and we're hoping it'll continue, into the future in that model. But it's scaling now, so it'll scale up.
Gotcha. And you've answered you might have referenced this a little bit, but I want to ask as my final questions to wrap up here. What's the future of this in connection to applied theatre? We're in IDIERI. A program like this, what kind of possibilities does that open us to for the field?
Well, I'd say there's a number of lessons for all of us who are working in the area of drama or theatre practices. it's really important that you see what it is that needs to be done, and you identify the need, and that you go then and find appropriate funding sources that are appropriate to the level that you need. So we're not looking at, at crazy sums or teeny tiny sums, but you demonstrate impact. So I'm a great believer in the business cases, so I've always been writing business cases rather than very academic documents that doesn't really connect with people. So I think for our colleagues here in IDIERI, what I'm hearing is wonderful work. It's incredible the work that people are doing. It's inspiring and it's humbling. And I'm hearing struggles about funding. So that's a piece that I think we need to learn lessons from each other, writing the business plan, because that's the language through which, governments have to do. That's how you have to do it, yeah.
Wow, this is amazing. It's so much of what you said, it just resonates with me based on a lot of the work that we're doing. I've been having the privilege to talking to Carmel O'Sullivan from Trinity College Dublin. Did I get that right? Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Real pleasure. Thank you.
And this is Taiwo signing out. See you in the next episode.
You have been listening to Glocal Voices, the official podcast of the Center for Socially Engaged Theatre at the University of Regina. For more details about the Center, visit www.cset.ca.